Doom Patrol is here. Robin still got issues. DC Titans, go.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah, old blue eyes. Tehran, I appreciate that. I didn't expect to get a little, you know what I mean, little Frank Sinatra tonight.
Yeah, you know.
He's a Jersey boy.
There's a special unity amongst people who never shook hands with Frank Sinatra. So
we come from the same state, so I have a connection.
So she is in a roundabout way. They're affiliated.
Frank Sinatra New Yorked it up real quick though. Let's
Yo,
not act like that's not true.
Oh, no, listen, he ain't been Jersey.
I don't
for
remember
like
him
ever.
singing New Jersey, New
His name
Jersey.
starts spreading the news. Like he was like, I didn't even know he was from Jersey. You reminded me right now. I forgot. But anyway, so welcome, listen to the DC Titans panel. I'm your host, Evan T. Mack, and this guy to my left, the man of 1,000 robes.
And
Tehran.
a thousand words. My name's Tehran.
Hey y'all, it's Chauncey K. Robinson.
What's going on, guys?
Well,
How was your week?
It was excellent.
Talk to me
Excellent
about
week.
something. Tell me about current events.
Everything's great. Everything's wonderful.
Good to see you guys. Today we're gonna tease a few things, man. First appearance of the Doom Patrol, of course. The dinner with Doom Patrol. Robin and Korey kind of team up together, and I'm gonna end with the Titans getting together finally in the fourth episode, kind of like their first, together. So let's just start from how everything kind of begins, like in the beginning, where Beast Boy and then and Raven kind of like meet together in the woods. Can you guys just tell me your first thoughts, first of all, on this episode and everything else that you guys are feeling?
Well, my overall thoughts about this episode was that I feel like this show's been on a good pace. I was a bit critical in the first episode, much like everyone else, and then the second episode came and I realized what it is.
Rightfully so,
And
though.
by third episode, I was on board, even when other people weren't. I was very impressed. And now we come into this fourth episode with the Doom Patrol, and it's like you get these characters and all this stuff, and nothing happens. This episode was, I don't want to use the term garbage, but it just wasn't as great as the other episodes. I understand we needed a backstory for Gar and have him, and we needed a platform for Doom Patrol to jump off, but I'll be very honest. This episode made me not want to watch the Doom Patrol show. It was anticlimactic. I was hoping for bigger scenes. We thought something would happen between Starfire and Negative Man. Things were going to happen. It looked so great, and yet it was a tease. It was a tease, so.
What are you thinking, Chauncey?
I felt like this was basically a backdoor pilot featuring Raven as a guest star, and like Tehran was saying, nothing actually happened this episode, and I kind of wondering how they're gonna have. I mean, I know how they're gonna have a show with Doom Patrol, but I wasn't really convinced either that I would watch a whole season with these characters.
I like the term backdoor pilot because I felt backdoored on this one.
I did not mean it that way.
I wasn't getting this.
You're trying to say, so you didn't like the premiere of the Doom Patrol, or do you like the cast? Do you like them, or you?
I like the idea of them. Like I loved I think it was Elastigirl.
Rita.
Rita. She was, some of those, oh my God, it was gross, but it was also kind of awesome because there was that duality of beautiful yet also breaking apart physically and all this other stuff. And so I liked the characters. I like Robot Man and stuff, and I liked their personality. I did not like Chief at all, but it was weird because nothing actually happened with the plot of the Titans. And it's fine to have a backdoor pilot, but it's also like, you kind of have to make it so if you introduce these characters, they need to help the main plot.
Oh, okay,
out.
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
And what it was
and
just
something
basically,
overall
let's
needs
hang
to
out.
happen.
Yeah.
You mean in general?
Nothing specific happened.
So yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. So like speaking about like the Doom Patrol and it's getting started, like you could tell this was episode literally just to set up the spinoff though, right? Is this not what it was? They were like trying to do
Backdoor pilot. That's what it
like
was.
literally they were like, this is the Doom Patrol. Like we are going to premiere them. We're going to give their own show and cameo appearance by.
But it did not
Dick
do
Grayson.
well, and I'll explain specifically why.
Do
First
tell.
of all, the only things that we got for the Titans specifically were three things. First of all, we got a jumping point where it looks like Starfire and Robin, which with the previews of the next episode, clearly their love interest. I saw a bit of that tension in the beginning for half of a second.
Oh, yeah.
We finally understood that why Beast Boy keeps being a tiger. Thankfully, we got that piece of
Oh, that was
information.
dope. I like that.
Because at this point, I was just like, this
Yo,
guy,
bruh.
if you don't know how to do anything else, why can't we just call you Tiger Man?
I know.
And the last one is, of course, them coming together, and now Robin giving the promise, "You'll always have me," clearly setting up the team effort. That took 4 minutes. The rest of the episode, which was also short, was a backdoor pilot, courtesy of Chauncey, of the concept of the Doom Patrol, which none of the characters were set up right. Sure, we got glimpses into each one's personality, but not an overall one. We don't know if the chief is a good guy or a bad guy, and it actually didn't make me more interested. It made me not like it. I felt like a passive aggressiveness throughout that episode regarding the chief. And also, there was no big something. With Raven, we didn't see anything happen, even though her powers were unleashed. With Gar, we didn't see anything happen because this kid's afraid of blood. With Negative Man and Starfire, we didn't see anything happen because they both threatened to show their real selves. With Robin and Starfire, we didn't see anything happen because they couldn't do anything until later, and Robin hasn't taken her to dinner, and you know how it's supposed to work. Then. Well, and finally, with Raven, we didn't see anything happen with her storyline either. We're no closer to understanding her powers. We're no closer to understanding who her father is. Sure, we get that nice touch of she's a compassionate, good soul who can heal as well as hurt. Yeah, that's great. We needed more.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have a show that has, we don't have 22, 23 episodes, right? So the whole 11, filler, the filler idea, I think that's done and gone because of the fact that you have these shorter seasons. You're supposed to get more every single episode. Things are supposed to happen every single episode because you don't have 10 episodes of filler.
That's a fair point. And also it's like they set it up that way. Like, you know how like Game of Thrones does, like each of their episodes, they have 10. So like each of their episodes would be like a lot going on. You're right, with the limited amount, like, like the Smallvilles and like Green, they're like 22, 24, 26 episodes a season. Like they do more. So I understand what you're saying. Like you would think there'd be more content with.
They do more and they have less filler than this show did.
Yeah.
The perfect correlation was with Game of Thrones. If I miss one episode of Game of Thrones, you might as well just not watch the rest of the season.
True.
You just missed out.
Like a lot of stuff. Like,
5 people died.
Like, it's true. Like it's true.
They're on Mars. Like you don't know what's happening.
That's real.
And I needed that for this show. But honestly, if I did not watch episode 4, I could jump right back into episode 5 and not have really missed
that's a fair point. Okay, so go ahead, Chauncey, go.
I was just gonna say, the one thing we did get out of it, because it was severely lacking in the first couple episodes, was Beast Boy a bit more. We got, his whole vintage love of stuff. We got more dialogue with him because he hardly got any screen time up to this point because he's actually, his character is supposed to be with Doom Patrol and Titan. So it was nice to see that for his character. But even then, it was kind of like, he kind of took this liking to Raven and everything. I thought he was going to reveal that he knew something. Like, I know that you're part of this thing, and we know about this, and that's why we're here.
They ran into each other in the woods. They ran into each other in the woods.
He was kind of like sniffing, like stalking her out a little bit.
Right, and he becomes this weird CGI malnutrition tiger for all of a bit.
And by the way, where does he keep his clothes? See, we get in his backpack. Where's his backpack when he becomes the tiger?
It was hanging in the woods.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's always just around his backpack when he's a tiger. Honestly, this episode fell short. I'm guys.
Go.
I've defended many things. Can we agree this episode that we didn't like Robin as much?
Hold on, see, man, that's it, man. I was just about to ask you, I was listening.
Finally.
I'm trying to, every week I'm going to keep checking in with you on your feelings towards Dick Grayson. And you took my steam, man. So you don't like him still?
I liked him yesterday. I liked him. Last episode, I got the little bit of child Dick. And then I was like, oh, okay. And by child Dick, I mean Dick Grayson. Let's not.
Get your minds up.
The concept is, once it went right when he got back for, hey Hunter, what happened? Nothing. I don't. Boom! I'm gonna beat you up in front of your kid.
That was raw too. But so you were warming up to Robin until this episode. Were you warming up to him?
I'll save my thoughts for each of the topics that we have. However, once we get into my overall thoughts, this is overall. I have a lot of specifics.
I'm gonna get into.
I will defer to you the same way that we enjoy that all the AfterBuzzers at our network defer to us, because we here at AfterBuzz produce network after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they are optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out for our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments below, and we will thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Very well, very eloquently put.
I was gonna say that American Gollum in the chat. You can join us on our YouTube channel, AfterBuzz TV, Sci-Fi, Fantasy, and Superheroes. Says Grayson channeled his inner Batman.
Oh, without question, that was Bruce Wayne all day.
This episode.
But like, okay, getting to like topics. Okay, so I just want to talk about the moment at the dinner table with the Doom Patrol when everyone's sitting around and you were kind of getting to like Raven and just I just like that scene. I just wanted the guys to talk about that with me and your thoughts on kind of how they premiered it, because it's getting back to you guys saying about the Doom Patrol. Do you want to see them in a show? Did this moment not make you feel like you get a lot more of that in their own show, or what did you feel about that scene as far as things go?
Personally, I really enjoyed the introduction to the X-Men. It was very cool.
Oh no!
Oh, see, now this chat's gonna go crazy.
Well, let's not forget that the Doom Patrol and the X-Men have had a very muddy past. Both, of course, debuting in 1963, both having leaders in wheelchairs. DC, of course, claiming that Marvel stole their idea and cross-contamination of writers. However, in this episode, I see that it was cool, it was cute. We saw Larry dancing, we see the food, we get this sense of who Rita is. It's looming in the room, and then they come down and she's this beautiful woman, but then we see her face melt a little, Elastigirl comes out. Cute, great. What's the point? What was the point? What was the point of this dinner? Was it to show that when the chief comes home, they all get up from dinner? That Rita, who says she has to eat so much, has a mouthful of spaghetti, which, by the way, in my opinion, is every girl's dream, to eat as much as they want and not have to gain any weight.
She literally has
that's
to
a
eat.
Lot of supermodels wish they had this power.
Unless, your face starts melting off. That's the one part
I mean, honestly, at that point,
it's an interesting trade-off.
I liked her enough for her personality that I saw beyond that.
The male gaze,
I saw her interview.
See the interview, that's what's up.
And that's the problem. I didn't see her inner beauty. I'm actually being sarcastic. We didn't get a glimpse of any of their characters, not even over the dinner. We got, Robot Man dreams and longs of being a human again. He looks at the food as he passes it along, sees his pictures.
Yeah, he got the most, I think, like getting into his, like,
sure.
I guess him, if he had to pick one.
And still not enough.
That's true.
I did not care about any of the characters enough to actually want to watch Doom Patrol. I literally wanted to watch it 100 times more yesterday than I did today after seeing a little of it.
What you, Chauncey?
I felt like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, these cool characters. Once again, I wasn't necessarily, I didn't need in-depth backstories about any of them for this episode, even with the backdoor pilot. I don't care for that. I wanted what I would have cared for. It would have been better in action to have gotten to know them if they were part of an active plot that was going on in the episode. Because then, while they're fighting or something like that, they say some one-liners. You kind of get a glimpse into it, and it's this balance of teasing you to want more, as opposed to teasing you and it's like that tease was not good enough for me to care. And I also think they're putting themselves in a very, not to get too much on the Doom Patrol, all of these characters seem so jaded and so like kind of a little bit like just down on life. And so what you run the risk of with a show like that, centering on characters like that, especially without Beast Boy being a central part, because he's kind of the levity of it, it's going to be kind of, I don't know if people could really rally behind that kind of team up. Right. How can you rally behind a team up of, people who don't seem like they want to be alive?
Did you
I don't know.
Would you rather it be kind of like they were doing like Hawk and Dove, like Lily kind of being a part of
yes,
this?
And I felt like we got to know Hawk and Dove a lot better. I didn't necessarily care for all that either.
I did, and I loved it. I loved Hawk. I loved Dove. I enjoyed that storyline.
Yeah, but we got to know them from that through the plot line and help the plot line move forward. Right. Things happen, and we got to know them. It was interwoven in such a way that worked, where it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we really just paused the show. I actually stopped to watch some other episode of some other show you want to sell to me later on, which I didn't think worked.
I would watch a Hawk and Dove show at this
Just like
point.
a spin-off.
Who, by the way, were not characters that I even liked going into
crazy,
watching
right?
them in episode 2. When I saw that Hawk and Dove were on the slate, I was like, eh.
Nope.
And then I saw it and I was like, I love them. Would love to watch them. So how did you feel?
It was interesting. Like I said, I like the episode, but you guys make amazing points though. Like the question is like why have this episode? Is like what you're down to, like didn't move anything along, like because what I was really interested in, like kind of moving on to my next topic, is like Robin and Korey like working together. Like that is what I wanted the episode to be.
100%. And a lot of people
my
in the
God.
chat are getting upset at us and are saying that we're bringing the episode down. You should be getting upset at the producers of the Titans because they made the episode. We're just the messengers. Don't kill the messenger. Kill the message. Kill the message.
On fire.
Everybody has an idea where standalone, this might have been an okay episode. But in a short, as Chauncey pointed out, we're getting 11 episodes?
Yeah, it's about 11.
Yeah.
11 episodes of this was, so basically we're getting 10.
Yeah.
And if they do this again, I'm be very upset.
Yeah, guys. Like I said, you guys make good points. Like I said, I'm trying to enjoy the show for what it is, but like I can't deny what you're saying. You're saying like you're saying like you wish they would have moved. Like them being premiered would have had some kind of thing to do with what's going on.
Had they been part of the unlocking of Raven's father, something to do with the monastery, moving the story along in some way, the way, as Chauncey pointed out, Hawk and Dove were able to do so seamlessly. And that's just writing. That has to do a lot with production. And clearly this was, and when you pointed out the backdoor pilot, Chauncey, I really appreciated it, that's how it felt. It felt as if I was being force-fed a pilot that I wasn't signed up for.
Yeah, and the thing with, and also to add to that, when you do that kind of thing where you showcase the other new characters and you really want us to get to know them in some way, it at times it can be to the detriment of one of the characters we've already gotten to know. Because I felt like Raven in this episode, suddenly she was like a mutant whisperer or something. Like she knew to go up like, oh, she needs to rest, and this deer right here, and she didn't know that she healed it or whatever, which was really cool. But like it was these moments where she was all of a sudden so very mature.
Yeah, that was my favorite version of her so far. Just
the thing was it earned? Because suddenly,
that's a great point, Chauncey.
It's like, yes, this is great. She's doing, but where did this come from?
And I don't even like Chauncey. I just keep agreeing with her. I've never liked Chauncey. Now I'm like, I'm Team Chauncey. That's how much this episode offended me.
I cannot.
You know? I'm like, at this point, I'm like, give me that MAGA hat. I don't know, maybe. I'm just offended.
Oh my Lord.
It's because it's uniting that. And even if we look at it as an episode, Evan, let's look at this dinner episode, right? All that food for what?
Man, it looked good
it's
too.
indicative of the episode.
Man, that's the best.
What?
That's the best food spread I've seen since Hook, man.
That
Like
was
the steak looked
I
amazing.
thought the Hook food spread was my favorite when I was growing up, but that right there, yeah, I do put it on, man.
And it looked like, because they chopped the salad, it looked like they were gonna have a iron steel man cook off against one another. Iron Chef was gonna happen.
I like Negative Man though. I do. I like the guys playing him. I like the way they presented him. It's kind of like if it was like their show, I'd like it even more. You know what I mean?
Really, because we really just got Shadow Man, the guy who's wrapped up, and we didn't see anything of Negative Man.
That's true though.
We were waiting when Starfire and Negative Man confronted one another.
True.
We were looking for the wraps to just burn off and him to show his power and her to show hers.
I know what you mean.
And exactly. I thought we were going to get an unveiling. And that would have been a payoff where I would have been able to tolerate this episode.
Before I move on, like, what do you see them crossing over into the Doom Patrol? Do you see that happening? Do you see them doing that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Personally, they have to at this point.
So you'll be like kind of like
They have to redeem.
Arrow and Flash back and forth kind of stuff like that. But like I said, like moving on to what like I said, I wish the episode was about like the Robin and Korey like going off and just literally just trying to find Raven, checking and seeing what happened at the convent and like explaining like the mother trying to say what she did. She kind of like I locked her in and I just wanted to keep her safe, and then like them kind of coming together like again and just having that moment where Robin like lost his mind for a second and like almost murdered somebody in front of their baby. Like talk to me about
that was...
man, like Dick Grayson was mad.
He just loses it. But, you know, I just love the Robin and Korey dynamic so far. I mean, they're playing into a lot of tropes. You know, it's this whole idea we don't like each other. But now, like, in this mist, I'm going to give you, Korey gave him some sort of advice. You know,
good advice, too.
You know, she's like, you got problems. You should deal with it. And no one should have to do this alone. I don't have my memory, but I know you can't go it alone. And that eventually played in later in the episode, that advice. Yeah. To what he ended up saying to Raven. So it's already showing that she has some sort of influence over him. So I like that tidbit, and I like their dynamic because they both are powerful people. So yeah, I really dug it, but that's because I kind of ship it too. So
yeah, I like this. I like Brandon, man. I like this guy. Like, I have no objectivity. That's why I defer to you about my man Robin. I like this dude. He can do no wrong. I love this kid.
I actually liked him. I have liked him in his other movies. I have watched this movie. He did in Australia that probably no one saw, and I've seen it.
I like this kid.
I like this guy. I just like the I want the character of Dick Grayson or Robin because the chat is on fire about us using the different names. However, we all know they're interchangeable. So at home, we're going on the assumption that we all know when we say Robin, we mean Dick Grayson and vice versa. Because we're also understanding of who these people are as characters throughout the episodes themselves. He was Robin episode 1.
Yes.
So when it goes to Korey and Dick, that's actually my favorite time, and when I like Dick Grayson the most is the way he is with Korey because his walls are coming down.
Yes.
I enjoy their interaction, and while it does play into the typecast of the brooding lovers who disdain one another into some type of passionate love and lust for one another, that attraction there where they're both searching for something is a perfect dichotomy of Beast Boy and Raven.
Well said.
Gar and Raven both bonding over the loss of their parents, for example, and having this past. Then we see this also play out here. I enjoy their teamwork. I enjoy them both being alphas.
Yeah.
Right.
And both very much being alphas and yet being able to beta each other when need be. And that's something that I see as growing between them.
Yeah, because I like when he was like, even though that is Starfire, he's like waiting in the car, and she like reluctantly does it, but she does it.
But he explains it. That he does. The old Dick Grayson might not have ever explained it. It would have been do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
But in this episode, he says,
I'm a cop.
You're a cop. I'm a cop. You're wanted by the police.
Yes.
Makes total sense. I would have stayed in the car.
And she's like, hurry up.
Yeah, exactly. I love that she added because that shows that combative nature that they even though that she submitted in that sense, she was still like, oh, hurry up.
Yeah.
You know, so she still gave a little bit of a attitude towards him. So.
And I like their attraction for one another. It's building. And, you know, what I like the most is for all the people who were so upset at the selection of who plays Korey, they're going to just kill themselves over this one because
it's about to get real.
It's about to get very real. But even in the comics, there is a romantic relationship between Dick Grayson,
started
Robin,
from the 1980s,
and
in the comics.
and Starfire, and that was something that was very new when it was introduced into the comic books. And so they played it. They played it again in the Titans movies that are DC cartoons. And I'm glad that they carried it on here. And there was a question, I wasn't sure, but this episode, before I saw the preview, I was like, ooh, I see that.
Right.
I know what that is. That's the little love tension.
Right.
And it was interesting.
It's like I said, it's one of those things where I think for the casual viewer, I think they're trying to do a good job of not showing you that they're. If you watch the preview, then it is what it is. But like for the casual viewer, the person that's not the DC fanboy or fangirl, I think they're showing them like they're building that sexual tension because something's gonna like happen. So I think they're doing a good job of disguising.
They're doing a great job of building that. What they didn't do a good job of is building up the Doom Patrol.
Here we go.
He's like, I'm coming back to that.
Okay.
Full circle. So are you interested in a Doom Patrol show? Or are you out? Or are you just gonna be like, are you wait and see? Because they put it on your plate, man. They want you to eat it like now. So how are you feeling about that right now?
Let me just say this.
Unbelievable.
There are times. Remember the food in the scene?
That looked amazing.
It looked amazing.
It's great.
Have you ever had food that looks amazing, but you bite into it a
I
little?
didn't
And
know
it's
you
like,
were going there with this.
why, this doesn't taste the way it looks. It looks so much better in the advertisement.
Oh, you
I have an open mind to it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
He's being a Debbie Downer right now.
Well, no, not
but
even
you know what?
Debbie
I'm
Downer.
gonna watch
I
it.
I get it. You know, it's one of those things where, like, when you watch a trailer for a movie, either you're turned on to go to the theater or you're not. You
there's
know,
like a
you
long
might say,
trailer.
I'll wait to the DVD. Or
Either one of
something.
you are telling me you like the chief, the leader of the
didn't
Doom
like the
Patrol.
chief
Did
at all.
anyone like the chief?
No.
I like him as an actor, though.
Sure, amazing
damn
actor.
good.
Did you like the character of the chief?
I just didn't like how he was all mean. Why you got all mean to Beast Boy? Why you scold my man like that? Why you over here threatening my man
I
like that?
honestly, when I was watching, I wrote down in my notes, I said something of an abusive dad in a way. Not necessarily straight up abusive, but kind of like this,
Emotionally, mentally.
emotionally
Oh, for
manipulative. Because like he's yelling at him, but not really yelling at him. That was such a weird scene because he's like being so stern. He's like, you put everything, and he's like whispering, really, and then it's like, I'm sorry, I yelled at you, and it's just like, whoa, where was that shit?
It looked like he had an evil intention. It felt manipulative the same way the show did. It felt like it was passive aggressive. It was, I'm kidding, I'm good, and the chief is an overall good person. He even saves these people's lives, even on the show, for good intention.
Right.
So we get a different origin story for Gar, for Beast Boy, but sure, he's doing it out of the good. He goes, they were a good soul. It was a good soul, and so. But I didn't feel that he was a good person.
No.
Do you?
Especially when he didn't let Raven up. It was like, okay, now she's telling you, let her up.
Yeah.
And you're still like, no. And I like that moment, though, between Beast Boy, because I was like, is Beast Boy going to show allegiance to Chief, or is he going to show allegiance to Raven? And I was like, if he shows allegiance to Chief, it might be hard to, like, it might be another obstacle to the whole Titan
Oh, for sure.
grouping. But when he did show allegiance to, you know, wanting to protect Raven, I liked that bit because I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good, this solidified their bond.
So, like, just kind of a quick sidebar. Or do you care when the comic shows or movies, like, you know, when they kind of do you mind minor changes to origins or minor changes in personality changes, and like, does it bother you, movies, shows, TV, like when it comes to comics? How do you feel about that?
I will say this. I personally, I do not mind it as much as many people tend to do. They love to stick. They're like idealists when it comes to, it has to be the exact ideal that was presented from the beginning. I've seen many good changes. Star Trek was a great change.
I agree.
We see, but then there are some bad changes. X-Men, the new X-Men is not a great change. The new Spider-Man, however, was. It just depends on how it gets played out. The Batman revisioning with Christian Bale was great. The Batman in the DC movies now, I'm rolling my eyes for those at home. So it becomes a situation of, I wonder how it plays. In this situation, it was, sure, it's not, it wasn't the point that I fixated on, is the change of origin for Beast Boy.
That's what I'm getting
when
at.
it played in the beginning, I took note of it, and I said, okay, and I was on board.
Yeah.
I simply didn't understand the payoff of Gar acting the way he did towards the chief, because I didn't see why he would act like that. It does seem to such a degree for someone he had just met.
But I think that was that bond that they got.
Sure.
You know, you guys are talking about the lack of the bond or whatever, but just when I was talking about how she was clingy with Robin, somehow, like 2 episodes, it was like, well, they got this bond. Well, that's what happened here.
I
And
apologize.
this one was more justified, in my opinion.
Raven was saved by Robin. No one needed saving in this episode.
Okay.
Those hunters weren't going to shoot the kids. At no point was there any actual where it was like, if Beast Boy was like, come to the house, I know everyone's looking for you, but I can save
That's
you.
what they should have done.
You're my age, and now I have a friend. I'm so lonely here. Just when we thought he was squatting at a house, it turns out it's his house that he lives at, has everything, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, honestly, the chief can adopt me. Like I would
I would love to be in that house.
Bro, he had all soda.
I was hating. I was hating. I was like, man, I need to be up in there when I was his age.
Exactly. Like the concept was I didn't see where the animosity came from. I understand having a stern parent and rebelling, but it wasn't stern,
I think they were trying to just show you that it was like the protecting their anonymity though. Like, and he keeps going out. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were trying to build the conflict there.
He does. He keeps going out. It's crazy. And the person he brings back is a super powered human being.
She's pretty badass.
I'm sorry. It's not like he was, hey, Rachel, hey, I just met you on Craigslist. Come to the house.
So you don't
That's not what
so
happened.
you don't feel like their anonymity is important enough for him to be mad at, you know what I mean? Like protecting their sanctuary. You don't think it's enough for him to be a little pissed about?
They didn't seem to care that much about their anonymity when Dick Grayson and Korey showed up to that extent. They weren't willing to just attack without thought. To say, oh, people know who we are or where we are now. They're revealing themselves in that way.
They were hostile, weren't they?
They were hostile. I think Elastigirl told them to get out. She was
she did say that.
Yeah.
She said get out, and then they came in. So they were hostile to people who broke into their house.
Yes.
Totally understandable. And?
Well, it's one of those things where it's, I don't know. I just feel like what's going on with Doom Patrol and like this whole the dynamic. I think what they wanted to give us was a little bit more Beast Boy, and I think we saw that because they did do it. It wasn't necessarily a throwaway line, but they did keep saying, you don't want Chief to find out that you brought someone here. Right. And that was kind of like ominous of what is he going to do if he finds someone there. So, I mean, the payoff, and I know in the chat, there are some people saying, well, how can you be mad that the bad guy was a bad guy and things like that. I think it's also understanding, once like what we were just talking about how comics and versus live action, this is a reimagining to a certain degree. This is a new interpretation. So there's no guarantee that the Chief's supposed to be negative. There's no guarantee that that he's supposed to be a bad guy. We can only go on what we're viewing on the screen and whether or not the writers and the producers. Is the Chief a bad guy? Well, there's the talk of him being kind of a gray area or a bad guy in the comics in certain iterations or whatever. But we don't know that in this particular live action.
A lot of fans get a little sidetracked. They have to understand like the show is not just made for them though. You know what I mean? Like fanboys and fangirls that know the comic from day one. You have to take into account, like, DC's making this show for other people, like casual viewers.
As well.
See, because no disrespect to all the nerds out there. We're all nerds in a certain degrees, but
not all of us.
But you know what I'm saying? They ain't the ones putting billions of dollars into, like, it's not, it gets to $1 billion because of casual viewers. You see what I'm saying? Like, the casual viewers coupled with the fans. So it's one of those things where I get what they're saying about, like, because you know what's going to happen. You know what the Chief's supposed to do. But they're presenting it as if no one's seen it before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think people get sidetracked with that, when it comes to, like, our because Spider-Man's, like, my guy, and, like, Superman, Batman, those are my guys, like, but so I get a little in my feelings when they even deviate a little bit from, the structure. But then I got to remember they're presenting it to, like, the younger generation of people that don't know what the hell's going on.
And I think that comes from, like Serenity Q26 is saying she wants some surprises. You want the surprises sometimes because even if you know it. And I don't know, I'm one of those people when it comes to comics, I don't think anything's canon, really, because there's so many different universes and depending on who they change.
Artists,
and whatever.
writers, different, there's 50 different characters.
You got to pick your timeline. It's like, well, I'll follow this 1987 to 1990 version of this plot line because they redo it in 1990 to 1997. Like,
because this Titan's not the original Titans. See, if you want to go there,
it is.
Like, are you mad about that?
With the Chief, I would like to point out that while I have no problems with him being a villain, I have no problems with him being a good guy. I would have no problems with him being a gay porn star named Charlie. I would have no problems, but tell me this. Explain that, express it. Don't leave it to a passive-aggressive interpretation where Logan is friendly with him and scared of him at the same time, where everyone's tiptoeing around him, but then just have this blind loyalty to him as well. Where he's stern, but then apologizes. Pick one.
Interesting.
Pick one. Is he a bad guy or a good guy? And if he's a bad guy who's hiding it, the way that why can't I think of his name from The Flash? did the first episode.
Oh, I know
Harry,
you're talking about.
where he's
Harry
the
Wells, yeah.
where
Yep,
Wells,
Mr.
Dr.
Wells,
Wells,
yes.
like hides it. I get that, but that's not what they did here.
He was awesome.
And so that's why it was a very passive aggressive episode, and I think we should see other people. It's not me. It's
You're
I also
absolutely
believe in gray areas too, and that's the thing. Like where some people are saying, like oh, he was a bad guy or whatnot. It's also a thing about being gray characters, right? Like Robin's a hero. Here he is busting noses of fathers. There's this idea that maybe the Chief is also a mixed bag character,
Which would be
and I
fine.
would actually love that. I love when
didn't do it well.
characters exactly. Then that becomes the question of the narrative. Like, was it delivered in that way where I would understand he's really a bad guy, that's it, or he's a mixed bag character? Was that conveyed in such a way that me, the person just coming off the street watching this, would get?
That's man.
To something.
Good
It was
stuff,
something
yo.
as simple as Ivan Soto, who's been very active on the chat, pointed out. Cliff talked to Gar about Gar wanting the Chief to help Rachel, and Cliff said, "You hate her that much?" So they've already set up the Chief as someone not good, and then he's good, and then he saved everyone, but then he didn't, and then he straps her down to help her, and then keeps her strapped down when she doesn't want it. Pick one, Cosby.
With that being said, DJ in the booth, can you please play the news for me?
News and gossip. Just mainly 2 points this week. Titan executives have revealed why Robin isn't Nightwing. I don't know if you guys have been wondering why he, from the jump, has been Robin
I'm curious.
since he already left Batman or whatnot. Titans producers and series writer Jeff Johns spoke with DC Comics about why Grayson is still Robin in the show, possibly hinting that Nightwing is coming in the near future. Johns and executive producer Greg Berlanti came to the conclusion that it would work better for Rachel's journey towards becoming Raven to be mirrored by Dick Grayson's post-Batman path. They said Nightwing is such a stable, confident, emotionally balanced character. He's Dick Grayson when he's found his place in the world. We wanted to build up to him becoming Nightwing. What do you guys think? Should we have gotten Nightwing out?
Nope. I'm a
Not
big,
yet.
I'm
Not-
a
Not
big
yet,
fan of making them wait, man. Making them wait. Patience, and we rush because we let the new society tell us they want things now, like microwave society. So like this, I like when people can just slow play things, man. Like he gonna become Nightwing slowly but surely, man. Give it time. Let it slow cook.
And then finally, in tech news, you two can own one of Robin's cool, semi-out-of-date gadgets. It seems in Origins, the 3rd episode of Titans, Robin goes on a road trip of sorts to track down missing Rachel and Starfire. And we saw that when he was at the gas station, he broke into the surveillance footage. Well, that's pretty standard for Batman stuff. But according to the site Gizmodo, the thing that stands out the most about Robin's hacking into Titans is the fact that he seems to be using one of Notion Inc.'s Atom tablets. I tried to basically track it down because I thought it was kind of cool that a real world Batman thing was happening, but it seems it was out in 2010 and you can only find it on eBay. So
What's it going for? You know what it's going for?
well, it was $300 when it first came out. So I'm guessing you can find it on eBay for like $50. But yeah, just a little prop.
Want one of those?
I found one at a garage sale for $8.
You too.
I don't not believe
For his
it.
next
used it.
Halloween costume, he can be Dick Grayson.
In a bathrobe. And here's
gotta
the
be
thing
better.
about that. I hacked into the Pentagon using it too. It was
So
Please don't put that on.
obviously-
Listen, don't put that at your Pentagon. Ain't got nothing
the
to do with
Atom
that.
tablet. It was boom, boom.
So
Or
that's-
I hacked into the Pentagon's Facebook, whatever. Or I just added them as a friend. Whatever. The point is, the tablet is there.
Yes, 2010. Great. Batman.
Is that?
And that's it.
Oh, thank you, Chuck.
News and gossip.
They must have got it at the same time they got Robot Man's outfit. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll see.
Oh my
listen,
God.
Yeah, I
the
said
man-
it.
Someone was going to go up to him like Wizard of Oz.
Oh, the tin can.
can thing, like he was going to get stuck.
But that's the thing. They had a nod towards Robot the movie, and then they had a nod with Negative Man towards Invisible Man.
Yes,
Yes.
With
she
the
did
nod,
ask
she goes,
him,
"Are you invisible
That
under
would've
there?"
been cool, yeah.
Is that only
If only you knew what I really was under this. Well, we don't either because we never got to see it.
Watch it on the next Doom Patrol season.
The man, that's real talk. So, man, kick it to the man with 1,000 robes. The special segment, please. Can you drop that?
So once again, we're gonna pick the scene in the show that reminds us of us. So I'd love for you to, in the chat and in the comments below, add on to this conversation. The panel is open up to all of you.
Chauncey, can I start with you? Do you know what?
Sure. I mean, I felt like there were two. I'm going to lean towards Raven, even though I did rag on the fact that it seemed like she was totally mature in this episode all of a sudden. I'm going to say when she was at the dinner table. I think we've all had, not all of us, but, you can have dysfunctional situations, and you are that person in the room that's kind of like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. So I felt that.
I like that. What about you?
I had two. One was when Rita was when Droop Face, when they came in, and she was like, "Get out!" I felt that way when I'm in a public bathroom and someone tries to open the door. Have you ever? And it's like the worst thing. And why is there a crack there in the first place? Get out!
I have no clue.
Like, why are you banging on? Why are you okay?
Like architecturally, why is there that?
Why?
You're supposed to put a piece of tissue there to drape over it so no one can see.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
Not supposed to, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the second thing is when the hunter shot the other hunter. When I was watching the episode, I wish they had shot me, and I would have been able to. Okay.
Worse.
And the reverse, my second one was the idea of Raven trying to save the animals, because I love animals.
That's beautiful. I would have shot her.
Yeah, it's funny because like mine was the part with Raven, like in the deer thing. Because I'm from Pennsylvania, where like they can hunt. They literally they get off school to hunt where I'm from. So like they get like a time to just hunt deer. And I used to always just be like curled up in a little ball and be like, please stop killing these deer. But I know why they do it. It's population control and whatnot. But I felt like Raven right in that moment when I'm trying to nurse the poor deer back to health, and everybody walking down my halls of school eating deer jerky and deer bologna.
Are you afraid of blood? The way Beast Boy is afraid of shape-shifting into any other character?
I'm afraid of my own blood. I don't want to see my own blood. Well, that's my special little scene. Somebody in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat, Drew Leonard said, Robin beating that guy up for me.
That's a real scene that we should talk about.
Yes, for sure. And also, Sebra said, I'm Gar because he's just a normal guy who occasionally becomes a tiger. I think we all can relate to that.
I like that.
I like that too.
Let's. Can we talk about the Robin beating up?
Please.
He has anger issues. I mean, he has anger issues, but that came out of. I felt like maybe he was thinking they did something to Raven.
You mean like the aggression? Like the aggression came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like how much he was beating
because
them up.
all of a sudden it's like, what did you do with it? But you already know she has like these strong powers. What did you think this guy hanging out in his trailer kind of home or whatever could have done
Not
to
much.
Raven?
Not much.
So it's kind of like sometimes it seems like he wants an excuse to be violent.
I like this crazy Robin, man. He's like unhinged, man.
You know who else liked Crazy Robin? Korey Anders liked Crazy
yeah,
Robin.
she got turned
so she
on
was
a little
like,
bit. I saw that. She was like,
"Damn."
And then she grabbed his hand like it's too much. But it was like,
But she wasn't though. She
she's like,
Before we get out of here, guys, let's get into these AfterBuzz predictions, man. Yeah, DJ was ready. He waited for that one.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Lovely Chauncey. Tell me what's going on. What are your predictions for next episode?
Dickory, that's the name of their ship, Dick and Korey, is going to rise next episode, and I'm here for. Although my guess, I feel like I think there's going to be 3 stages because we heard in interviews when some people might have read some interviews with Star and the actors who play Star and Robin, that their thing is going to be like an old tea kettle, like it's cold, it's hot, and then it really warms up. And I think they're going to fall maybe into a lust relationship before the love actually is there. But I do think it's heading towards love. But I think next episode is going to be total lust.
Nice.
Interesting. I think that Dick Grayson's going to realize that he's been channeling a lot of inner Batman and have to confront it. I also think that Dickory will become a thing. Obviously, we saw a bit of that in the preview. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how they play Beast Boy and Raven together, because Rachel and Gar is supposed to be a teenager, but he's actually not, and Rachel actually is. So I'll see how that plays.
fair.
But then again, as long as it stays away from being sexual in nature. And also, I'm very sure, or I'm hopeful that next episode we get a Titans show, because
Yeah.
that we actually see the Titans. Actually,
Yeah.
it's a Titans episode.
I think it will be.
I hope it is. If next episode it's like, oh look,
Yeah. I agree with you. Hopefully they kind of start the small stages of like forming the group. Not like, not make it official or anything. Like just kind of like maybe
unless
like,
it's Justice League, and then maybe we can.
they kind of like solve a crime together, some kind of issue together. So
Something.
maybe something after the jump off happens. But that's it for us. Chauncey, put yourself over for these fine people that are watching, please.
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR and also on Rotten Tomatoes, where I'm an official film and TV critic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She says that every week.
I just learned.
No, I just said it last
That's
week.
what I
That was
thought.
the
Yeah,
first
I
time.
was gone. Put yourself over. I was like, that just news to me.
I am Tehran. Literally, I am Tehran. The same way I was disappointed. Hopefully next week I will come back with a positive view of the show at I am Tehran all across the board. I'm sure I will be reading my name in the comments below this week. And guess what? I clap back. So please feel free to comment below. Love to hear from you. Love to chat with you all. Catch me on a variety of AfterBuzz shows. As well as you want to see me Monday and Thursday at the Laugh Factory at 10 p.m. Come try to assassinate me. I'll be there.
Keven T. Mac, Instagram and Twitter. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all take care.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.